Writers Workshop, where we take your submitted stories and critique them. My name is Flutter Priest, and this week we have a whole bunch of different authors that are here to help critique this work. We have Milk.
I'm an author.
We have a non-pencil.
Author.
And we have Enigmatic Otaku.
Yes, an author title.
This is our very first week of user submissions, and this week we're going to start with I'll Take That One by JMac. It's an E-rated story, which is comedy and slice of life. It's very well rated, and it has about 1,500 watches behind it. The way we're going to handle this is that for the most part, we're going to keep all of our critiques towards the end of the story. But if there's something that we just cannot handle and we need to talk about, we will interrupt and talk about what we're unhappy with. If something is correct, the same rules apply. Needless to say, let's jump straight in. This is a 3,000-word story. Princess Luna considers taking a student to mentor, and while looking for the perfect unicorn, she finds, instead, Quizzical Greystone. This is a prequel to Quizzical, and might be thought of as a prologue to that story. Chapter 1. Actually Extraordinary. Boom! A unicorn mare rushed to comfort the crying foal at the center of the calamity. She tried to wipe the soot from his face and only managed to smear it. Around them, school porters, ever ready for such an event, doused small flames with blasts from their fire extinguishers. Watching from the top row of the auditorium, Dr. Checkmark shook his head sadly. As registrar of Princess Celestia's school for gifted unicorns, he had seen this far too often. Overreaching. Too many applicants grow ambitious and try to show off. He attempted a complicated pyrotechnic spell, when simple telekinetics would have done for the task. He was merely asked to open a stuck pickle jar, after all. Miss Gatekeeper, secretary of the admissions office, turned to the illustrious guest. Your Highness, it will take some time to reset the examination area for the next applicant. If you wish to step away and stretch your legs, we can summon you when we are ready to continue. Thank you, answered Princess Luna. We believe we shall do just that. Luna, thus excused, rose and exited the auditorium. She wondered, not for the first time, just what the hey she was doing here anyway. It was Celestia's idea. I hate to nag, sister, Celestia had said, and this was both true and unfortunate. When it came to coming out of her shell, no pony needed nagging more than Luna. Even Luna admitted this. She didn't just feel she'd shaken off the stigma of becoming the nightmare and being banished. It was more in her own head than the perception of any of the ponies she ruled. But this was real enough for Luna. So Celestia had to nag her. I think it's time you took on a student of your own to mentor. I won't tell you how taking a student will benefit you, or your potential student, or even Equestria as a whole. These are all arguments you already know. Instead, let me tell you how it would benefit me. I would dearly love to tell you how wonderful and enriching an experience being Twilight Sparkle's mentor is, but I can't, because, as things stand now, it would just feel as if I were gloating at you. But if you also had a student, then we could chat about them. I would really enjoy that. I think you would as well. So, won't you please consider taking on a student of your own? Of course, when Celestia said, please do it for me, what she really meant was, please do it for yourself. But it was an excuse, and Luna agreed to consider it. For Celestia. And so Luna was here, at Princess Celestia's school for gifted unicorns, observing next semester's applicants take their entrance exams. Luna enjoyed the experience, for the most part. It was good to see so many promising young ponies apply themselves. Equestria's future did indeed seem bright, even with the occasional dramatic incident. But Luna did not see a foal she thought needed her, and she did not see any little ponies she felt she needed. Luna stuck her head out of the auditorium exit and overheard an exchange in the hallway where applicants rehearsed and practiced as they waited. "You are forcing your spells." It was spoken so softly it was a strain to hear, even with Luna's enhanced alicorn senses. "Concentrate not on gathering magic to power the spell. Instead, focus on the result you desire. Your spell work will actually be better, with less effort." "Thank you, miss," said the grateful little colt being coached. "Not miss. I am only a student, just like you. My name is Quiz." Luna would have thought the filly had a pleasant voice if it had any inflection, but it didn't. It had none at all. If Luna had an oscilloscope, she was sure this Quiz's voice would register a very flat line. The filly was no taller than the young colt she was advising, and even more slight of build. Her gray coat and mane failed in every way to stand out. Everything about her was forgettable. Luna was immediately captivated. "Why are you helping these losers, Quizzical?" An older and much larger filly stomped up to her. "What did you expect to gain, anyway?" "Actually, I only saw I could be of help, so I offered my assistance. That is all, Sunflower." "Oh, just let them fail, Drone. We already have enough dweebs around here as it is. What did you think? That they would be grateful and make you queen of the dweebs? Try again, Quizzical." Seeing that the bully's attention was focused on Quiz instead of himself, the colt took advantage of the moment and scurried away. This left his benefactor alone to face Sunflower. "I thought no such thing," said Quiz. "I only meant to be helpful, actually. It seemed like the right thing to do." "Sure you did, Drone," sneered Sunflower. "Well, if you think this is going to make you any friends, you can forget it. As soon as these foals find out what a lonesome loser you are, they are going to forget all about you. Oh, they might try to take advantage of you around midterms and finals, but they won't ever really be your friends. Stone the Drone doesn't get to have any friends." "That was never my motive," said Quiz. "Actually, I have noticed, Sunflower, that you also have a tendency to force your spells as well. I could." "Actually, you better learn not to correct your betters, Drone." Luna stepped into the hallway and cleared her throat. "Princess Luna!" Both fillies bowed, Sunflower positioning herself right in the middle of the corridor, Quiz deftly slipping behind Sunflower and disappearing. "Please rise. We wish to have a word." "Welcome to our school, Princess Luna. My name is Sunflower, and I'm a third-year class president." The filly stepped forward slightly more swiftly than Luna could grant her royal permission to stand. "You probably know my mother, Hyacinth, and my father, Withering Gaze." Yes, we are familiar with your family." Luna wasn't exactly sure which of the many Camelot boars were Sunflower's parents, as they all seemed alike to her, but no doubt she had met them at some dreary function. Luna strongly suspected that she didn't like them. Sunflower probably owed much of her status to a building somewhere on campus that her family had paid for. "Would you excuse us? We wish to have a private word with your classmate." "Well!" exclaimed Sunflower as Luna brushed past her. But she knew when she was dismissed, and stalked off down the hall. Sunflower moving out of the way revealed no pony at all. Quiz was nowhere to be seen. "Bother!" exclaimed Luna, stomping a hoof. "Little one, Quiz, is that your name? You will step forward this instant. That is a royal command." "Yes, Princess Luna," says Quiz. She emerged from a shadow at the base of the staircase. Luna would have sworn this shadow could not possibly hide a little pony, but Quiz proved her wrong. "Please do not hide from us when we wish to talk to you." "Quiz? Are you trembling?" Yes, Princess Luna." "Oh!" The filly was terrified, and Luna thought she knew why. It saddened her. "We frighten you. It is because of the nightmare and our reputation." No, please do not think that, Princess." This was whispered so softly Luna had to strain to hear, yet somehow the statement held an emphasis of a shout. The filly meant it. She really did not care about Luna's past. It is not you. It is myself. That is, you see. Please try to calm yourself and answer as simply as you can, said Luna. She hoped she sounded soothing. What makes you so afraid? I do not enjoy the attention of other ponies, said Quiz. Important ponies such as yourself are especially frightening. Luna was aghast. Among the image-conscious, socially climbing unicorns of Canterlot, every pony enjoyed coming to the attention of important ponies. Every pony, apparently, except this one. Is that all it is? You are shy? That might be an understatement, Princess Luna. Let us chat then, and as we get to know one another, surely you will become more comfortable, said Luna. She noted that Quiz kept her answers fairly short. Luna guessed that the filly was self-conscious about her voice. Luna became determined to get an emotional response from the filly. Tell me something that makes you excited. I do not get excited, Princess Luna, said Quiz. Oh, surely that is an exaggeration. I do not exaggerate, Princess Luna. You are also not going to make this easy for me, thought Luna. Surely you have a favorite thing to do. Please tell me about that. Very well, Princess Luna. I enjoy creating graphs. I have been working on a way to combine pie charts and bar graphs. This would convey a way to convey information in 3 dimensions. Unfortunately, it is not very neat or clean on a flat surface. If it could be projected in the air... I see I am boring you. We deny that, insisted Luna, stifling a yawn. Despite this apparently being one of her favorite things, the girl had droned on colorlessly. But if you feel you have lost our interest, then tell me of something else that fascinates you. Do you like geology, Princess Luna? Quiz's voice held no hope for a positive answer. We do not mind it, answered Luna. She wished she were a better liar. Some rocks are actually quite nice. Never mind, Princess. This is not actually a common interest among ponies. Nonsense, child. If it fascinates you, then we are sure your enthusiasm will be infectious, and we will enjoy hearing all about it. Celestia had been the one who taught Luna this trick, as part of her tips on surviving dull social functions. If you could get a pony talking enthusiastically, it was usually fun to listen to them, and you really could often catch their enthusiasm. Luna suspected this would not work on Quiz. I do actually have a theory about limestone caverns below Canterlot, Quiz finally said. I have always thought the formations are older than it is generally believed. It is not a promising line of research, as dating methods are imprecise, but it is delightfully interesting to talk about. Princess Luna? What? Yes, we're listening. Caverns and such. Luna had begun to stare off into space. She couldn't help it. Quiz's voice simply had that effect. Luna had thought she had heard all of Quiz's words, but they were only half registered, and Luna wasn't sure how long she would remember what she heard. Luna did note that whenever she never heard the phrase delightfully interesting spoken so flatly. The filly seemed hopeless, but Luna was determined to reach Quiz. Somehow. Perhaps she had better try something else. Would it help set you at ease if we were to make this conversation a bit more casual? Perhaps if you spoke to us more familiarly? I actually doubt that, Princess Luna. Let us give it a try anyway. You no longer call us Princess. You shall call us Luna. If that is your wish, Princess Luna. You just now called us Princess Luna. Did I, Princess Luna? We must credit you with this, young filly. You are consistent. But we seem to be making progress, thought Luna. She is no longer trembling. She seems more paralyzed now. That is progress, isn't it? What about your name? Sunflower called you Quiz, but what is your full name? My name is Quizzical Greystone. Greystone? Greystone? Luna's jaw dropped. As in, Barrel and Chisel Greystone? Yes, Princess Luna, they are my parents. There wasn't a building company on campus that named for the Phillies family. There were 3. This humble little unicorn was the 8th generation of one of Canterlot's oldest elite families, and heir to possibly the largest fortune in Equestria. Canterlotters were compulsive name-droppers, obnoxiously so. Any other pony would have led with their name. This pony would never have mentioned it if she hadn't been asked. With that background, she could have become a snotty socialite like Sunflower, with an entourage of fawning sycophants. Instead, she became Quiz. We have met your parents, Quizzical. We quite like them. Luna had met the Greystones at a particularly dull reception, and the 3 of them had spent the evening off in a corner near the buffet table, trading quips about the foibles of high-class snobs all around them. We had a good fun with them. I do not doubt that you did, Princess Luna. Actually, all of my family are extraordinary ponies, said Quiz. Despite the lack of inflection, Luna could sense her pride. Luna didn't get a sense that Quiz included herself when she spoke of extraordinary ponies. You are a puzzle, Quizzical. However, shall I figure you out? Luna decided to try another trick Celestia had shown her. Can you tell us a joke, Quizzical? Sharing a joke helps ponies to get to know each other. You do know some jokes, don't you? Know some jokes? Why, yes, Princess Luna. I am personally acquainted with several. Luna waited. That was the joke, Princess Luna. What? We do not... Oh! Ha! Luna stomped her hooves and fluttered her wings as she laughed. Ha! We shall have to steal that. We have met more than our share of jokes as well. Thank you, Princess Luna. I was afraid you may not appreciate the snarky sentiment. Oh no, Quizzical! We enjoy snark very much! Then Luna became more serious. But it's best kept to oneself. I always do, Princess Luna. Of course you do. And now that we have enjoyed our joke, we wish to be serious for a moment. Luna began to pace in front of Quiz as she gathered her thoughts. Advising young ponies was not something she was experienced with, and it was important to get this right. What Sunflower told you is not entirely true. The part about not making friends, we mean. The colt you helped might someday be your friend, and it's if you give freely of yourself and show other ponies kindness, they will reach out to you with offers of friendship. Really, Princess Luna? I have never been certain of that. Oh yes, it really does happen, Luna nodded enthusiastically. The difficult part, what we personally have found to be the very hardest part, is reaching back. My, that is just extraordinary. I shall have to make a note of that. With a pop, a notebook and quill appeared before Quiz's nose, and the quill began writing automatically. Suddenly, Quiz stopped. She was blushing. I apologize, Princess Luna. It is terribly rude to begin taking notes when some pony is trying to speak to you. Luna chuckled. We can see how important it is for you to get this down. Please carry on, Quizzical. Anyway, you are correct. It is an amazing insight. We wish it were one of our own observations, but we cannot take credit for it. This comes from the writings of Twilight Sparkle. Twilight Sparkle? I have read everything she has published. I am quite in awe of her work. The quill never paused or wavered as Quiz spoke. I fear I actually only understand a small part of what she says, but it is all very marvelous. I hope to meet Miss Twilight someday. Perhaps you shall, said Luna. May we suggest, when you do, you might let a bit of the awe you feel creep into your voice when you speak to her. I do not understand, Princess Luna. Of course you don't, she said. As Quiz tried to make sense of this approaching hoofsteps echoed approaching footsteps echoed in a nearly empty hallway. It was one of the school's porters. He stopped and bowed. Princess, the examiners are ready to recommence. Thank you, kind sir. Let them know we shall be along shortly. Luna did not need to see the rest of the entrance exams, but it would be wrong to disappoint the foals who expected a princess to witness their big moment. She turned back to Quiz. Before we go, we wish to... The hallway was empty. Luna stamped a hoof indignantly. Really? We just took our eyes off you for a moment. Fine. Very well. If it makes you more comfortable to hide from us, but we know you are listening, Quizzical. There was no answer. With your permission, young filly, we plan to call on you at your home. Actually, we shall call on your parents. We wish to have a word with them about your future, Quizzical. If you truly wish, Princess Luna. The voice from the shadow by Grandfather Clock was nearly inaudible. Yes, that is our wish. Further, I would like to see you again. I would like that very much. I would also like to see you again, Princess Luna. The voice from the shadow sounded sincere. It was possibly even a little enthusiastic, though Luna was sure she only imagined that. I promise, Princess, to try to be more composed for your next visit. There is no need to feel any pressure, Quizzical. Goodbye until then. You are a puzzle, Quizzical Greystone, mused Luna as she walked back to the auditorium. A puzzle I shall no doubt never fully figure out. No, I will never figure you out, but I shall delight in trying. This will be the beginning of a very interesting friendship. End. So, let's start with our guests. Enigma, what did you think of the story overall?
Yeah, the writer did, it was grammatically correct and whatnot, but it was I'm noticing that it could have used a few commas every now and then.
It was definitely a struggle at times to, like, naturally read the flow, like, off the cuff without commas. And, of course, this is a first read-through every time I do this, so I made mistakes throughout. I apologize for what mistakes I did make. The problem that I ran into as I was reading this is, oh my gosh, parts of this were just so purple in Talking Heads. Things were just happening and not really shown. That's definitely an area that needs improvement for this particular piece or for this writer. What do you think, Milk?
Same boat as you. I feel like there was definitely some purple prose. There was like no action. It's just little mouths and eyes were there, and nothing else was happening.
It was very slice of lifey, and that's fine. Like if slice of life is your cup of tea, that's what you want. That's what this is. But I don't know if the comedy was fully there. Pencil, I see you jumping in and out. Pencil, what did you think?
It was good. I liked it. So
I think she's
This
having
story-
connect. Yeah.
no, I'm here. This story, it had a lot of good things going for it. In a very short amount of time, it did establish a very definitive character. It kept Luna's voice pretty well. And from what I understand, this is actually a prequel to another kind of well-loved story, so this character's already been established, so I don't feel like this needs to necessarily give us a ton of stuff about the Philly. I feel this doesn't fully stand alone, because of that, but it, as a prequel, let's assume that the other story gave this filly more backstory and more description, showed a lot of that anyway. So if we assume that, I think that's fine. The problem I run into with this story in big capital letters is that we are presented with an interaction between two characters where one character is, for all intents and purposes, intentionally flat.
Agreed.
And that's fine to do. When you create a character, go right ahead. Make a flat character. But when you do that, you have to do it very carefully and very intentionally. It's a huge challenge. Because that flatness should be used to make the times when that character does act out, does show emotion, does do something unusual. It's meant to emphasize that. If you look at somebody like Rei Ayanami, some of her most memorable moments are like when she slaps Shinji, when she breaks out of that. I'm using that as a great example because this character reminded me of Rei and the level of flatness that we see.
Yeah.
And some people really like that as a character. I get it. But here, it makes it really hard, if this is a standalone, to connect at all with the character we see. Her only flaw is that she might be boring. Oh no. Other than that, we don't have anything. So it's really hard to look at this and judge. And if I'm honest, I think that's probably more telling of the fact that this reads like an author who has a good mastery of language in some cases, understands flow somewhat, and understands pacing and how to format, but has never had their hand slapped and said, don't fucking do that. So that's what it reads like to me.
I totally agree. And the fact that, like, Luna is trying to be the foil to this flat character in this. Like, that is her purpose. She's trying to help get this character get out of their shells. Like, the whole purpose of these two withdrawn characters is to get each other out of their shells. That's what I'm guessing they're going for. But even Luna's kind of flat in this a little bit. Like, and that's by design. She's the old Canterlot ways thrown into modern society. So you have these two flat characters that interact, and you don't really feel a lot of chemistry.
We're told so much rather than shown. And
yes.
It makes it really hard to connect.
Another thing with what Pencil said earlier, because this is a prologue, I think the writer never bothered to tell us, if we were reading this first, what the character looks like.
Yeah. That was something I was noting. We have her size a little bit, and that she's slight of build.
Mm-hmm.
But, and again, I think part of that suffers from this being a prequel. That there's been plenty of stories, and can we be honest for a second that this character is really thinly veiled mimic of Maud?
Yes, I was trying not to just say it out loud, but it's basically Maud.
It's a tiny, slightly different Maud. And in another story this author has written, they make a direct comparison where they have this character interact with Maud.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I do understand what this person is doing. They are writing a character they really like, and they're putting them opposite all these other characters that they like.
Another comparison that I can make is that when Quiz tried the joke and said that was the joke, I was reminded of Rainier Wolfcastle from The Simpsons. That was the joke.
That has been used a million times before The Simpsons, just so you know.
Well, the flatness as like abrupt humor, like that's not something that's unique, and I think that's what was tried to be aimed here for. Like, it's the so awkward the situation is so awkward and so atypical of common conversation that you laugh at how abrupt and unusual it is, the awkwardness of it. But it doesn't come off that way. It's so slowly paced. Comedy is usually very quick, and it's very like Reed Douglas Adams and oh gosh, who am I thinking of? Terry Pratchett, and they are just masters of wording comedy into every single little line, and they even tackle some of these like more awkward types of humor do it really effectively. It seems like we can see what you were going for here, but I don't think it was executed very well. That's not to say that it was the worst thing I ever read, because it wasn't, but there's definitely promise here. And the fact that we can see what you're doing means that you tried, and I'm happy you tried. But it's going to take more work to really nail down your comedic timing and your comedic voice.
And I know a lot of people liked this before, and I know a lot of people liked the other stories with this character, and this character is fairly well established, so it's not like you can go back now and completely change your character around. I get it. But
Go ahead, Pencil.
You might want to be a little more intentional with how you use your character's flatness and how you use your character's tone, because if you keep it all at the same level, which in this it is, in other pieces maybe not, in this it's just all so level that it's really difficult to get into it.
One other thing I've noticed, and this has nothing to do with the story itself, it's more its structure, but do you guys notice how some sentences are double-spaced from each other and some paragraphs are not properly aligned?
Yeah, I was noticing that too, tiny little things.
That's little stuff.
That's all stuff you can fix off really right away, but it's more the core story stuff is really the important thing, the actual execution of the story. You can fix typos.
I didn't notice that many actual word typos. I noticed some commas missing and some sentence structuring weirdness, but I didn't notice a lot of actual legit typos.
And that's why I was saying that this piece shows promise. Like, they're actually really trying.
Yeah, and people are liking it, so they're doing something right.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to say that this is moving in the right direction. I can't put this on like my favorite stories ever shelf, but definitely moving in the right direction. Do you guys any closing thoughts before we sign off on this one?
One recommendation to the writer. You're gonna have a lot of people who praise you for this character and for the story, since you definitely have a little bit of a fan base for it. Do yourself a favor if you want to improve a lot. Get somebody who's willing to tell you that you're wrong frequently. You will find you improve a lot just by trying to reevaluate your work when somebody says the words "you're wrong."
If this was not the prequel and this was the first chapter of the main story itself, I would not continue reading.
I kind of agree with that too. And I'm happy. It seems like this came out after the initial story.
Mm-hmm. And the other story is wildly popular. Like, wildly, wildly popular.
Well, there we go. Milk, any thoughts?
Can't say that I have too many thoughts. And it was kind of a boring story.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm sitting here, you're reading it through, and I get what's going on in the whole story, but Jesus Christ, I'm ready to go take a nap. I'm sorry.
That's... Yeah.
I mean, the list of actions that happened was they were just standing there and talking, and one of them was bored most of it.
I'm happy people like this story so much, but you can do better than this.
Are you guys usually this mean, or am I rubbing off on you?
No, this is us being actually critical. We're trying to actually be critical and help people improve on this.
Oh, thank
podcast.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're not just being a bad influence on Miss Pencil. It's fine. So that said, this concludes this episode of the Writers Workshop. JMac, thank you so much for submitting this in front of us to read and talk about. We really do think you're moving in the right direction. Don't think we're telling you quit writing or anything like that. You really are moving in the right direction. Just consider getting a mentor that will sit back and make you really critically think about things before you continue on.
You could do it.
Yeah. So, thank you for watching this edition of the Writers Workshop. See you next time.